Hey guys, well, in front of you is a small set of Gunadapters that I got from ShortLane, Gunadapters.com. I got these back in last fall, November sometime, and I've been testing them as part of my sort of survival rifle, survival shotgun, kit that I've been putting together. The inset video that I'm going to show you is kind of going over my purpose of using this as food procurement and something where I'd be hunting, 30 yards, not necessarily, taking out sage rats at 100 yards with basically a 3-inch barrel. They do have longer adapters. These have become very popular over the last year or so, especially recently with the added difficulty of finding ammo. But I'll show you that real quick, just to kind of give you a little square away so you can kind of see what kind of accuracy you're going to expect out of this. I will say the biggest one through all my testing is the 410. Definitely test various brands and loads through them to find out what works for what you're going to be doing, because I definitely noticed quite a bit of difference through some of the different brands that I've shot. And some of them were the Remingtons, the rifled slugs, and some of the buckshot. I just recommend you guys kind of doing a similar setup of the inset video here and going out, and trying them and see what works. But we'll put that in and we'll be right back. Hey guys, this is our range today. Zoom in here. What we have are some little gophers, and we're back here about 20-25 yards, typical sort of game distance here, and we're going to be testing out some things. Alright, first up is the 12 gauge 410 45 Colt. I don't have any 45 Colt anymore since I got rid of my Judge, and that's also the reason some of these are at 2.5, but I've got some rifled slugs. I have some 3-shot triple-aught, and I've got some PD Defenders, and we're going to see what we can do at about 25 yards. Alright, we'll insert some photos, but these are on a 3-shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. That's kind of a strange big hole. I mean, some of these sort of almost ripped through here, but 5 shots, and I got more than 5 entry wounds, so I got 1 per shot. As you saw with the photo, I had horrible luck with that rifled Remington. I had 2 shots right here on its belly. Out of 5 shots, that was it. I took 1 shot with that Remington, or the PDX, and this is the result. We're going to put some more shots on here. This is 5 shots with the 410 of the PDX. Pretty impressive. What I'm going to do is, this is a little bit cleaner target. We're going to compare that 410 with, say, just a regular old 7.5 game load. Out of a 12 gauge. Alright, that's 12 gauge, 7.5 game load on the same target. We're going to swap these out and get some fresh targets on here and take a look at the 9mm. Here you can see this is actually the Hornady Zombie rounds. They do recommend not using FMJs. This is a rifled slug. You can see we got the 4 shots right on top of each other. I had 1 little flyer down here. This is about 25 yards, so that's pretty darn good for 9mm. This was shot sort of rapid fire. I was trying to load it as fast as I could, and this is using the Magtech FMJ. A little bit, I was shooting a little low. I tried to move up a little bit, so I think that was just me moving where I thought it was hitting. But all 5 rounds hit this little guy, and again, we're shooting at a pretty good distance, so that's not too bad. That's the 9mm. I'm pretty pleased with that. In fact, once that cartridge warmed up, the Magtechs, came out super easy. I didn't have to plunge those out at all. But not too shabby. We're going to switch to 22 and go for those bottom guys. Hey guys, there's 5 shots. Thunderbolt, 25 yards. Shooting a little low, definitely. But I also have that clocked at the 6 o'clock position. So I'll probably try that again. We are running out of light here in the high desert shooting range. So as you can see, for what I'm going to be using them for, just a terrific job. I mean, couldn't ask for anything more. They do recommend on the 9mm that you go through and use like a hollow point. As you saw in the testing, I did both just because I wanted to know how it fired. This is a rifled. I don't know if you'll be able to quite see that, but the 9mm is rifled, and so is the 22. The other thing you'll notice are the 9mm and the 410-45 are a little bit longer, and they're sort of chamfered at the end here. I'm not quite sure the purpose of that or why this one is shorter and the rest of them aren't, but you will be able to get the 22 into a semi-automatic pump. Obviously you'll have to cycle it out, and it's not very advantageous to use it that way, but you can get it in there. With ammo being so hard to get as of late, and that's not to say that you guys shouldn't have been storing some to begin with. I'll have a separate video on that argument. But being able to fire cheaper test rounds, being able to go out with family members and shoot a 22, or hand, my mom a 9mm because she doesn't want to shoot the 12 gauge, regardless of what Joe Biden said. I can give her a box of 9, and she can go out there and with a separate target and have fun all afternoon with everyone else, and she won't get tired. She's not afraid of it. She enjoys the shooting part. I think that's an aspect of these adapters that some people don't quite explore, is that the learning, or just having an added rifle that you can shoot in a cheaper caliber. Even though 12 gauges are fairly cheap, it's not always enjoyable for everyone to do, and it's not always kind of what you're trying to do. If you have a specific target, shooting it with a whole bunch of birdshot kind of defeats the point of learning accuracy, working with your trigger, things like that. I will say they give this little poker. I have forgotten it several times, and a branch works just as easily to get these out. That kind of brings up a point that they're not the only gun adapter brand out there. There's a couple others, and one specifically is doing some very innovative things that we may review down the road. But a couple nitpicks around this are, you can see on the 22 here that it is off-center because of the rim fire. So you have to, if you want to get reliable shot placement over and over, find out whether you want it at the 12 o'clock or the 6 o'clock position so that it lines up with your sight. I think I kept mine at the 6 o'clock. I think seemed to work the best for me. And I had no issues firing all sorts. I mean, leaded, the lubricated lead, copper jacket, everything else seemed to work just fine to there. Now, like I said, they have longer ones. If you guys are trying to reach out and touch somebody, get those sage rats, you may look at like the 9-inch ones. I think is the Dave Canterbury has the Pathfinder ones. They're at a 9-inch in 9mm and 22. But I like the size of this. This doesn't take up a whole lot of room in my kit, and adds a whole lot of versatility. Something that one of my subscribers was asking about, and saying that someone else had tried on the video, is instead of getting all 12 gauge adapters, they were getting a 410 to 22, and then a 20 to 410, and then the 12 to 20. And they were stacking all the adapters inside of each other. And that way you'd have a very small package. I have not tried that, so I can't claim that that works very well or is recommended. I will say that a few times I had issues extracting, popping this guy out, so I just jammed a stick in there. There is a small lip, just like your standard brass shell in there, but after a number of uses of going through, it became a null issue. I didn't have any problems. It was just right at the beginning of some of my testing that I was doing with these. But for the price, it's really hard to beat. Those other adapters I mentioned are quite a bit more expensive, and I think for a long time you had to buy his entire kit. The one thing they have going for them that I don't believe ShortLane is doing yet is to rifle cartridge. Some people are interested in getting like a 223-556 or an AK or even a 308 into an adapter so that you have the one rifle that literally shoots everything. That may be something that ShortLane is working on in the future. I'll have to get with them and maybe I'll put it in the comments below. But you know, especially nowadays, I have a feeling that these are kind of going off the shelf. You know, just so that you're not out shooting your expensive ammo. And like I said, you know, having a second rifle that is cheap, that I can shoot cheap ammo for, to bring in for younger shooters or newer shooters, has been probably the main reason I'm using this. And then of course it's going to go into my kit and become, you know, sort of a food procurement rig. This will be with the rest of traps and snares and everything else that I keep in sort of my go bag or bug out bag, whatever you want to call it. But neat little thing. You know, I'm not sure the reasoning and maybe getting just that little bit of extra room on these two, probably because there's a little more powder than the 22. But yeah, something to look into. You will need the little poker. The other adapter that I'd seen has kind of a finger cutout to make it easier. I know that Dave has some that are kind of scored across there, so it's a little bit more easy to index. The 22 that is offset like that, so you get very consistent shots. But I've had no issues with these, and they've come in handy a bunch. So it's worth checking out. Gunadapters.com is the website, and maybe we'll get some other ones and do a comparison down the road. This is Beast signing off. Thanks for watching, guys.